Hi everyone, my name's Brittnee. Welcome to my channel. Besides making chocolates, my favorite thing to do in the kitchen is plate desserts. I'm going to a vampire Halloween party on Halloween this year, and I get to make the desserts. So I've been brainstorming a bunch of plating ideas for a cheesecake, and today I'm going to teach you one of the designs that I've come up with. Before we get started with the tutorial, I just wanted to remind you that if you don't click the notification bell, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with 13 people, you're going to be haunted for 1 year. Here are all the supplies you'll need for this plating. A small black plate. I like this one because it's a little bit wobbly around the edges, kind of reminded me of something spooky. You can order these on Amazon and I will link it below. You'll need a mini round cheesecake. So I could not find any springform pans smaller than 4 inches. So I just used a little cake pan. This is 3 inches. I feel like 4 inches is too big for a single serving. And some of the mini pans you can find are 2 inches and they're way too small for a single serving. I think 3 inches is the perfect size. One mistake I made is that I filled it about halfway, but if you're doing this in a 3-inch pan, I would fill it all the way to the top so the cheesecake is taller. But all I did was line the bottom with parchment paper, and then when it was finished and all cooled, I just took a knife around the edge and put it in the fridge to set up, and then dump it upside down, and it came right out. Oh, and the recipe I used is so easy, and it's the most delicious cheesecake I've ever tasted. It's from a blog. I will link it in the description below if you're looking for a good cheesecake. And for this little small pan, I only cooked it in a water bath for 15 minutes. And for this cheesecake, we're using cherry sauce. So you'll want a can of cherry filling. And what I'm doing is just separating the cherries from the sauce so that I can pipe the cherry sauce on separate and then add the cherries afterwards. And then you are also going to want some modeling chocolate and some gold leaf. And you'll also need a little bit of chocolate to melt down to pipe and some piping bags. And then you'll want a 1/4 cup isomalt crystals, 1 tablespoon of water, some red food coloring, and a silicone baking mat. You'll also need a handful of marshmallows and some food grade gloves. And then last, you'll want some whipped cream. Just whip this up with a little bit of sugar and vanilla so that it's ready for piping. To get started, we're first going to make all the decoration elements and then we'll plate. So let's get going. The first thing I'm starting with is the little chocolate modeling clay pumpkin. So I'm going to take a piece of chocolate modeling clay, just a little circle, probably about that size. And I'm rolling it into a circle. And now I'm going to take it and push in the top in the center. This will be the top of our pumpkin. Then I'm going to take this tool and draw lines around the outside. I'm actually going to push the pumpkin down a little bit on the top and bottom so that it's more oval from the side instead of round. And then continue on with the lines. And here's what our pumpkin looks like after that step. If you want to make any adjustments to your pumpkin, you can do that. I'm going to make the lines a little more pronounced on the top. Now I'm going to hold the chocolate in my hand for a little while just to warm it up. I'm not changing the shape, I just want it to get a little melty because we're going to cover the whole thing with gold leaf, and I want the sheet of gold leaf to stick. So once your pumpkin's a little warm, you're going to take your gold leaf and gently pick up a sheet with some tweezers and lay it on there. And if you have a big brush like this, just tap the gold leaf on, making sure it lays against your pumpkin. And then we'll flip the pumpkin upside down and do the other side. So just do the same thing as before. Aw, I kind of missed. I want it to go there. I want to make sure my whole pumpkin is covered in gold leaf. And then tap it on. And then I'm taking the brush and kind of smoothing it out. And if you want it to look rustic, you can leave it like this. I think I want all my surfaces covered minus the lines. So I want to cover this blank spot, but you definitely don't have to. I'm going to put one more small piece on. And here is our 24 karat gold pumpkin. But now we're turning this pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern. So I'm going to melt my small bowl of chocolate and put it into my piping bag. I almost forgot, I wanted to make a little stem for the pumpkin, for the jack-o'-lantern. So while my chocolate's melting, I'm going to take some modeling chocolate and quickly make a little stem for the top. So I'm basically just rolling like a little cone, like this, and then going to cut it like that. Make the top kind of flat, and then I'm also just going to push that in a little, and there's my little stem, and I'll glue that on with chocolate. Okay, so I've cut the tiniest little hole in my piping bag. I'm going to pipe on a face for my jack-o'-lantern. And I'm going to start with the nose so that I can center it. We'll do the eyes up here. There's our little jack-o'-lantern face. And now we're just going to put a little circle of chocolate on the top, enough to put our stem in. Like that. And if you want to, you can add a few little swirls. So there's our cute little jack-o'-lantern all finished. All right, so the next element we're making is the isomalt blood spatter. You're going to take your 4th cup of crystals and put in 1 tablespoon of water. Cook it in the microwave until all the crystals are gone and melted. All right, so that took me about 1.5 minutes, heating it for 30 seconds at a time. So now I'm going to add in a little bit of red food coloring and give it a swirl. We want it to be pretty dark because we want it to at least match the cherry sauce. And you know, it's Halloween. We want it to look kind of scary. By the way, don't touch this. I don't think I have to say that, but you know, it's very, very hot. And it's too hot to make our decoration yet. We need to wait for it to settle and get a little bit thicker. So if you grab a spoon, and you can pick some up and see how quickly it runs. It's way too runny, so we need to wait till it gets a little thicker, more like that. I can even show you a little bit. We'll take a small bit on the tip of our spoon and just lay it on the mat like this. Oh, it's actually working pretty good. So it's pretty runny. Sometimes if it's too hot when you try to spread it like that, it balls up and the lines don't connect. We want the lines to be really pretty and smooth together. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more red real quick before we start. Okay, let's try to make one. So you're going to take a spoonful of the isomalt and you're going to drip it on your silicone mat and kind of swirl it in a random pattern like this. This one's kind of big. I'm going to do a little less this time. And right when you drop it, you want to start moving your spoon really fast so that it doesn't make big globs like that. That one was better. And then the faster you go, the smaller they get. And you're just swirling them around like that. You can really do whatever pattern you want. I'm kind of doing ovals like this. You could go back and forth and do kind of like a net. I'll show you what that looks like. So this is going like sideways. So you can do it like that. And you can also do a spiral like this. They look really good and red. I like it. We'll do another spiral. Try not to fling this on yourself. It'll hurt. It'll burn you. All right. Now we wait for these to dry. You can just set them aside until we're ready to use them. All right, now grab your black plate, your marshmallows, and your gloves, and heat your marshmallows for about 30 seconds in the microwave. Okay, now your marshmallows are going to get big and melty when you take them out. And mine aren't all the way melted. I think they'll be okay. So, while they're still pretty melty, they're gonna be hot, but you want them while they're really stringy like this. Be really careful, mine are still hot. But you're going to put your fingers together and then pull apart to create spider webs. And then stick it down onto your plate. Like this. Seriously, be careful because this is really hot. You only want to pick up a little at a time so that it cools really fast before it burns you. Ooh, this is a good webby one. You're just going to stick it to the edge and then pull away. Honestly, I'm happy with that. Oh, it looks so cool. I love the web look. Okay, now it's time to plate our cheesecake. So go ahead and grab your cheesecake and place it in the center of your plate. And then you're going to take your cherry sauce that you separated from the cherries and heat it in the microwave until it's a little bit runnier so that you can pipe it from the piping bag easily. And now you're just going to pipe drips of sauce on the side of the cheesecake. And then go ahead and fill in the whole top of the cheesecake with sauce. And you can use a spoon to spread. And now we're just going to pile some cherries on the top. I like lots of cherries on mine. Comment down below what your favorite flavor of cheesecake is. Do you prefer raspberry? Do you like a caramel cheesecake? Some other fruit, chocolate? Let me know down below. All right, we've got our cheesecake. All right, a little note before I show you how to finish it. If you're not serving this right away, you can put this in the fridge and it'll be fine. Once you put the isomalt on, you don't want to put the plating in the fridge because the isomalt will dissolve. So this part you want to do right before serving. I have my piping bag with a star tip, and I'm going to do a nice little dollop of cream. And then I'm going to choose my favorite isomalt blood spatter. I like this one. Oh no, I dropped it. Can you see that? I like this big swirly one, so I'm going to place that on top, kind of squish it into the cream. I'm going to put one more tiny little squirt of cream and take my cute little jack-o'-lantern and balance him on the top, like that. Here is the plating all finished. I hope that you love the design of this plating and that you learned a new technique. If you did, please like the video down below and don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to be haunted. If you'd like to see another plating design from me, go ahead and click on this video. If you would like to see how to make chocolate Halloween Oreos, click on this video. As always, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye!